Hello and welcome to my third War Thunder tutorial. I'm Silent Sobiev and I hope you will enjoy this tutorial. The tutorial will be about the research tree, the different plane classes in-game, and the nations. I'll start to explain the different aircraft classes first, and I will show you this on the US research tree. If you go with your mouse over the aircraft, you get additional information, and as you can see, I can read the aircraft class above the picture. This is a fighter. Fighter aircraft are good to take down other airplanes. They get additional experience for shooting down other aircrafts, but they get less experience for killing ground units. As you can see, there are lots of different types of fighter aircrafts, and twin engine fighters too. Jet fighters too, and the aircraft is performs best on a certain altitude, and you can see this by just going with the mouse over the aircraft and look for the maximum speed. And below the maximum speed you can see on which altitude it performs the best. So for example, the P-39 Air Cobra performs best at an altitude of 3,500 meters, so it's more a low-level fighter, whereas the P-51D performs the best on an altitude of 7,500 meters with this medium or high altitude. And the next class is attackers. Attacker aircraft can be one engine, twin engine. They have additional armament, they have more guns, and they are good to take down both air units and ground units. But often they are less maneuverable than the fighter aircrafts, so you should use them against bombers or less maneuverable fighters. And of course to take down ground units. They get equal experience for both air and ground units. And as you can see, there are many different kinds of attackers in game too, like the P-47D Thunderbolt, which is a good fighter too and can be equipped with bombs and rockets. You can see this here, rockets and bombs. And of course there are more bomber-like attackers like the A-20G, which is bomber, has a bomb bay and front armament too. The next aircraft class are bombers. There are twin engine, one engine and multi-engine bombers in game. They are best to take down ground units because they get the most experience for this. They are less maneuverable than attacker and fighter planes, of course, but have self-defense weapons. I can show you this on the B-17. You can see it has lots of machine guns to defend itself, and they are best to fly either high for bigger bombers like the B-17s and do ground bombing from high altitude through the gun side, bombing side, or there are some dive bombers like the Dauntless, which performs better by doing a dive on enemy ground units and dropping the bombs at lower altitudes. As you can see, we have different categories in the research tree. So I will start with the US research tree. On the left side we have the ground-based fighters, which were deployed from airfields. And there's also one attacker beyond them, the P-47D Thunderbolt, because it's something in between an attacker and a fighter. Then we have the bomber or attackers, multi-engine airplanes, also ground-based to start from an airfield. And next is naval fighters. They are able to take off and land on a carrier because they have a special hook for doing this. I can show you the hook. The hook is here at the end of the plane, and it will be put out to land on the carriers. Maybe you can see this better. No, it's hidden here. Next row are the Navy bombers and attackers. They are either float planes like the Kingfisher. They can land on the water and start from the water. You can repair them and rearm them if you land close to an aircraft carrier. And you have also flying boats like the PBY-5 Catalina. It's a naval bomber. As you can see, there's a variant of this which can only land on the water. It's this one. And the later version is able to land on the ground too, because it has a retractable gear. And you have the carrier-based bombers like the SBD-3 Dauntless and the TBF-1C Avenger. They can land and start from aircraft carriers. Because of this, they carry only a smaller amount of bombs, but they perform very good, and they often have, like the Avenger has the capability of taking a torpedo, so you can destroy enemy ships with it. I'll carry on with the German Air Force rank tree. And on the left side in the German tree you have the Italian fighters, from the CR-42 Falco to the MC-202. You will start with them. They are good fighters, but they are not the best. After that you get the Italian bombers. The S-79 is very good. It's a very fast bomber, can carry a good amount of bombs. You can carry up to 5 250 kilogram bombs. And because of its speed, it's not so easy to catch for fighters, especially the lower rank fighters. Then we have the fighter row, which starts with the Heinkel 51. They are your reserve biplanes. They are not very good, but I think they are the best maneuverable biplanes in game. And then you will get the Heinkel 112. They are okay, they don't have a finished flight model so far, but especially the last version is very good because of the good armament with 2 machine guns and 2 cannons. Then you will get the 109 series. They are very good fighters. They are maneuverable, have a good speed, and they can dive very well. But they are more lighter fighters with a lighter armament. Except the K4 and G6 version, they have heavy cannons in the wings, and they cannot take as much damage as, for example, the 190s. The 190s are better at high altitude, as you can see. They perform best at an altitude of 10,000 to 14,000 meters, and they are, I think, the best high altitude propeller fighters in game. They have a good armament, because the armament is placed in the center of the plane, which makes it easier to hit, because it's less spraying, as if the cannons or machine guns would be in the wings. And then you have special jet aircrafts in the German Air Force, which are the 262 and the 162. Those are early jet fighters. I think the earliest jet fighters put into service. They are from 1944. They perform not as good as the later jet fighters of Russia and US, because they were built much earlier, in the end of the Second World War. They are very fast compared to the propeller engine fighters of the World War II, and especially the 262 is very good to take down enemy bombers. Then you have the 163. This is a rocket-propelled aircraft, It has a low amount of fuel, only up to 6 minutes, and low ammunition capacity, but it's very fast. It's the fastest aircraft of World War II in the game. Next tree is the attackers and fighters, twin-engine attackers and fighters, the 110. This is not so good fighter because it's not as maneuverable as, for example, the P-38 of the USA, but it's good to take down bombers or attacker aircrafts, and also good for killing ground units because you can take bombs with this. The next are the 410 series. They are very good attacker planes because they have a high armament, and it's placed in the nose of the plane, as you can see, because it's a twin-engine aircraft, and they have high amount of weapons. And as you can see, there are different versions. The A1 version and B1 version are able to carry bombs too, so you can take down tanks with them. The U4 versions have a 50mm cannon, which fires high explosive shells. You can use them against tanks or ships very well as big bombers, but they only have a low amount of ammunition, only 21 rounds, and fire of course very slow. Then you have the other versions are cannot carry bombs, but they are additional guns, especially the latest version, the B6R3. It has two 30mm Mk103 cannons which deal very high damage, and the 410s are very good attackers, and it's very easy to take down bombers with them. Next row are the Stukas, Sturzkampfbomber, dive bombers. The first versions are dive bombers. They can carry bombs. You have to dive on the ground targets to drop them. The two later versions, the G versions, have 37mm anti-tank cannons below their wings, and you can take down, they are built to take down enemy tanks and ships. The latest of the Sturzkampfbomber series is the Henschel 129. It's twin-engine attacker. It's not very fast, only 320 km per hour, but it has an additional 30mm cannon beyond the fuselage, which is attachable, and you can use this cannon to take down bombers, attacker aircrafts, and of course tanks and ground units very fast. The next row on the German research tree are the bombers. There are three different versions of the Heinkel 111. The later version have better self-defense weapons. And the U-88. They are slower bombers, but they can carry more bombs than the S-79. They are better to use at lower altitudes or medium altitudes, but they can be easily intercepted by fighters and attackers. As you can see, we have a next row on the side, which is the premium aircraft. Premium aircrafts are either different versions of the aircrafts which are already in the research tree. For example, the Heinkel 112 B1 looks and has the same armament as the 112 B0, and we also have the 190 D13. It just has a little bit different armament than the 190 D12, because the 190 D12 has a 30mm cannon in the engine and the D13 has a 20mm cannon in the engine, firing through the propeller. There are also aircrafts of other nations, like the Wellington, the P-47 and the LA-5. They are captured aircrafts. For example, the LA-5 is a Russian plane, the P-47 American, and the Wellington a British plane. and you can buy them by using the premium currency, Golden Eagles. They have additional bonus on experience and rewards, so you get more money and more experience with them, and they have 30 free repairs. So if you want to invest some money, go and get a premium plane, because it makes you rank up much faster in your aircraft, in your Air Force. As you can see, the higher the rank, the larger the experience bar is. So I would suggest you to take a higher rank premium plane, because if the experience bar is completed, you get only 1/5 of the experience you get before. The Germany has also a jet bomber, the Arado. It has no self-defense weapons, no weapons at all. It can just go in fast, because it's very fast, as you can see, and drop its 3 500-kilogram bombs and go out and try to hide or land and rearm. Okay, I will continue with the Soviet Air Force rank, Air Force right now. And you have on the left row, you have the Yak fighters. They are, the first are very good low altitude fighters, and the Yak 90 and the Yak 3 are very good high altitude fighters. They are very maneuverable, but they have low amount of ammunition, as you can see. Yak 90 has a 37mm cannon, so maybe later, it's not fixed yet, but maybe later we can use it against tanks and ground units, armored ground units, but at the moment it does not work very well. Next row are the other fighters, I can say. The I-15s, I-15-3 and I-16. They are good low and medium altitude fighters, very maneuverable, very much ammunition, because they have only small caliber machine guns, which do not as much damage as the higher caliber weapons, but they can fire very fast. So you can spray with them. Then we have the Lags, Lag 3, Lag 5, Lag 7. The Lag 3 is a good medium altitude fighter, and it can carry rockets. If you want to use rockets, for example, against bombers or ground units. Then we have the LA5, LA7. They are very good low and medium altitude fighters. They are very fast, can turn very good, high maneuverability, but only low amount of ammunition. The next 3 airplanes are jets, jet fighters. The MiG-9 and MiG-9 in late version, and the MiG-15. They are post-war aircraft, so they were built and put into service after World War II and were seen in combat in Korea. They have high caliber armament with 23mm and 37mm cannons, low rate of fire, so they are good to kill bombers and bigger and less maneuverable planes. Next 3 are ground attacking aircrafts. They can carry bombs and rockets. The IL-2 and IL-10 can carry rockets. They are very good on low altitude, to hide in valleys and such stuff, and do pop-up attacks. And next are the Russian bombers. The first 3 are faster bombers. The SB-2 are AR-2 and IL-4. They have less bombs than, for example, the AR-2, but they are a lot faster. The AR-2 is a medium to heavy bomber, I would say. It's slower and less maneuverable than the IL-2 and AR-2 and SB-2. The last bomber is the Tu-2S. It's kind between of attacker and bomber. Can carry a high amount of bombs. up to 1000 kilogram bomb and to 500. And it also has two 20mm cannons in the wing roots. So you can take down bombers, fighters and attackers with them, or kill ground units too. The next are something in between bombers and attackers. They are in the bomber class, so you get more experience for killing ground units than airplanes with them. But they all have front armament like machine guns, or the P3 BIS has a 20mm cannon firing in the front of the aircraft. They can carry bombs and rockets, As you can see, the P3 BIS can carry rockets too. They are good to attack tanks and other ground units, but not the higher armed ground units like the more defended ground units like pillboxes or ships. So use them against tanks, light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks and artillery, AAA, all this stuff. Russian premium aircraft, you have versions of the normal Russian aircrafts like the one I-15-3P Chaika. It's a version of the I-15-3 with two cannons instead of machine guns. Or the I-16 Type 28 with cannons instead of two machine guns. Or some American planes like the Catalina, P-40, P-39 and P-63. They are also very good, and Russia have them because of the Lend-Lease program, in which the Allies helped each other with aircrafts, munition, fuel. That's because, for example, the Yak-3 has an upgrade for 100 octane Lend-Lease fuel usage, which gives you more power, gives the engine more power, and which came from the US. I will carry on with the British research tree. And on the left side we have fighters, and they are more, they are also good to attack ground units, so fighter bombers maybe. You have the Hurricanes, the Hurricane 1, Mk1 and Mk2. Mk2 can carry rockets and bombs, or bombs. And the Typhoons, they can carry rockets or bombs too. And the Tempest, which is a very good fighter, late fighter of the British Air Force. Next row are the fighters like the Spitfires. All the Spitfires are in here. Spitfires are good low and medium altitude fighters, except of some versions which perform very good at a high altitude. The later versions especially. But the first versions are very good at low altitude because they are not as fast as other fighters, but they can turn very good. They are very maneuverable. The Hurricanes are not as fast as Spitfires or other fighters, but they have a high armament of machine guns, 8 or 12 machine guns. Then we have the jets, Meteor, in different versions. They were early jets, I think from the 1940s, and they did not see real combat in history, but you can use them here in War Thunder. They have a high amount of ammunition and 4 20mm cannons in the nose, so they are really deadly, especially against slower and less maneuverable aircrafts like bombers or attack planes. Then the next row are bombers and attackers. The first bomber is the Swordfish. It's a rank 0 aircraft, and if you want to play the British, I would suggest you to buy it because it's very good. It can take a torpedo, so you can kill destroyers and battleships with it. but it has, of course, it's very slow and not very maneuverable, and has less guns than later bombers. But beyond this, it's very good. Then we have the Blenheim and the Beaufort. One of them, I think the Beaufort, can carry torpedoes too. Yes, it can carry torpedoes. It's a very nice bomber. They are faster, of course, than the Swordfish, but they are not as... They cannot take many hits. Then we have the Beaufighters. They are very good attackers, high, very good armament, many cannons and high caliber machine guns. They can also carry torpedoes, so you can take down ships with them and make points. Experience, because they are attacker, they get equal points experience for killing ground and air units. They are good to take down other attackers, bombers and maybe fighters, because they are very maneuverable compared to other attackers. It's maybe because of their unfinished flight models, they don't have as much drag as they should have, and maybe later they will not perform this good. They are also very fast, faster than in the stats here. Next planes are the bombers, the Wellington. Wellington, they can take up to a 4,000 pound bomb, which is equal to 2,000 kilogram. And you can take, if there are many ground units at one spot, you can take them all down by just dropping this bomb. They are also capable of taking 2 torpedoes, so you can take down battleships and destroyers in arcade much easier. In historical, of course, too. Then we have a later version of the Beaufighter, attacker aircraft again. It's faster than the earlier versions of the Beaufighter. It performs better, good at a low and medium altitude, as the other Beaufighters do. Yeah, good to take down ground units and bombers and all kind of aircrafts. Then we have the Mosquito. It's a very good attacker. It's very maneuverable. Very good to take down bombers and attackers as well. And it can carry rockets or bombs. Then the latest bomber of the British is the 4-engine Lancaster. It's can take up to 2 4,000 pound bombs, so it has lots of bombs. You can take down lots of ground units with it. It's a very good bomber, but it lacks on a defense turret on the bottom of the aircraft, on the fuselage. So if you want to kill a Lancaster, just attack him from beyond, or try to do boom and zoom, attacking from a dive from the sides or from the front and shooting into the cockpit. Yeah, the British have lots of premium aircraft like the Australian Wirraway or Australian Boomerang, because as you know, Australia was a British colony, so they have the aircraft from there. And they also have the French D520, which should be very good too. Beyond this, they have American Hellcat or the Havoc, which is a version of the A20G, or the Mustang Mk1A, which is, I think, an earlier version of the P51. I'm not sure of this, but I think. You can say that they have very good, very high maneuverable fighters and good bombers with lots of a high payload too, and very good attackers with the Beaufighters. But they lack a little bit of speed, except of the jets, which are fast, of course. But the Spitfires and the Hurricanes are not very fast fighters. Next is Japanese Air Force. It's a little bit empty, the tree, at the moment. But they are developing new flight models and 3D models for new Japanese planes, so we will get some soon. We have on the left side the Zeros, Mitsubishi Zeros, and the Shitenkai. The first are Navy fighters up to the A6M5. So they were used from carriers, and they were able to land on carriers except of the A6M2N. It's a flying boat or floater plane version of the A6M2. Of course, because of the floaters, it's less maneuverable than the A6M2, but all the Japanese planes are have very high maneuverability, but they are not very durable because they are made of paper, so they cannot take many hits. They have also a very good armament, 2 machine guns, 2 cannons, that's okay. The later version, the N1K2, are full metal aircrafts with 4 20mm cannons, good interceptor planes. Yeah, they can carry bombs and rockets as well, but the rockets they can carry are not very good because in reality they should be airburst rockets, but in game they are just normal anti-ground rockets. Maybe this will be implemented later. Then we have the ground-based fighters, the Ki 10, Ki 43 and Ki 61. The Ki 61, they are very good. They are faster than the Zeros and can roll at a higher speed. Also the latest version, the Ki 61C, has a very good armament because of 2 high caliber machine guns and 2 20mm cannons. Then we have the Ki 200. This is a Japanese version of the Me-163, the German Me-163, a rocket-propelled aircraft. As the 163, it has only low capacity of fuel and only low amount of ammunition. Then we have Navy fighters and bombers, the F1M2. It's a flying boat or float blowing. The D3A1, a carrier-based bomber and attacker, can carry bombs too. The H6K4, this is a flying boat. It's very big, has a very good self-defense weapons because of a 20mm cannon in the back. It's very hard to take down. So if you're an arcade and a new one and flying reserve planes, don't attack it because you will die. Then we have the B5N2. It's a bomber and it was able to carry a torpedo. And as you can see, there are different bombs at the Japanese planes with the same weight, and that's because they are different versions. The Type 98 Mod 25 bombs are armor piercing, so they are good to use against ships and tanks, and the Mod 25 Mark II, they are high explosive, they have more splash damage, so use them against lighter ground units as artillery, AAA and armored cars. Then we have twin engine bombers. They are fast, some of them have a 20mm cannon in the back, so good self-defense, but they are, as all other Japanese planes, they are made of paper and wood, so they cannot take many hits. The premium aircraft are the German 193, and the 190, also German aircraft. They are, compared to all other Japanese airplanes, they are very fast, but less maneuverable than the usual Japanese aircraft. And the American F4U. So if you want to buy a Japanese premium plane, I would go for the F4U or 190. Maybe, I think I forgot the US premium planes, so let's have a look at them. We have Japanese premium planes, A6M and Key 61. We have German premium plane, British premium plane, and yeah, the German 109 F4 is very good, and the Spitfire Mark 9 is good as well. And as you can see, there are special planes marked as gift, and if you go over them with your mouse you can get information how to get them. And the XP38, you can get this by buying the US Pacific campaign, by going to shop and store. And the A26, this is a special offer for if you buy a MSI PC in Russia, you will get a special code, and with this you can unlock the A26. I never saw one in the battle, so I don't know how it is. The Focke-Wulf 490D13, you can get this by purchasing a starter kit in the store, the Dora starter kit, and this plane was given to all alpha testers who participated in the closed alpha of the game. And then we have the TU2. You cannot get this plane otherwise you played in the global beta test, like me. And the P2 Peshka is also a starter kit plane which can be purchased through the shop. Typhoon MK1B is a plane was given to closed beta participants, and yeah, it's earlier version of the Typhoon MK1B late. Okay, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.